Hello, thank you for tuning in. Today is Thursday, March 6, 2014. It's a little bit cold out, but they're calling for a warm weekend. That'll be nice. I'll be able to meditate. The sun's out right now, but I wanted to give you a quick info bit. So this video is called fishing season. You'll understand in a minute. All right, now, for those of you who are proficient in searching information on the internet, you may have already stumbled upon some videos called Google Sky Objects. Now, if you go and you look, there's some really nice videos online called under Google Sky Objects search, and this shows enormous, I mean massive objects in deep space, all within visible range of our little solar system here. And in some places you can find up to 3 objects that are they're looking round in shape, and they appear to be either an off color, or there's some sort of shielding around them that creates this green aura, or there's a blue stream of light, or they actually look like black, like they're black, but you can actually see a reflection of all the stars around them on their shielding. So maybe their shielding is more of a reflective shielding. For a ship that size, so massive that we can see it so easily in deep space, it probably uses a form of deflective shielding, as opposed to the kind of shielding that bends light around it, because it would just be too massive, and it would be easier to just use some sort of a mirror type surface on the outside of the ships. So anyways, I want you to take a look at those videos. And some people have brought this up to me and asked me, do I know about the ships in space, and what are they doing, and are they our friends? Okay, here it is. When say a whaler, which nobody really likes whalers because we know that they're murdering the whales, and they don't care if they kill them all off. When a whaler finds a school of whales or a family of whales swimming in the ocean, what does he do? Does he just hunt the whales by himself and for himself? No. He gets on the radio and he says to all of his buddies, not just everybody, but all of his buddies on the radio, he says, I found a family of whales. Come quickly. This is my location. And before you know it, there is a fleet of ships circling this family of whales, and then they proceed to hunt them into extinction. Now, here we are, a planet, a big rock with some water on it that creates the illusion that the land masses are separated, although they're all connected, and it's just the valleys that are filled with water. So we have this giant rock that's has land masses separated by water, where they protrude outwards from this rock, and then you have these people living on the planet, us humans, and we've been made to believe that we are separate from one another, creating this illusion that we have enemies on other countries, that continent over there is separate from this continent over here. It's all an illusion. It's all a deception. And why would they do this? Well, that keeps us focused on what's down here, what's happening right here in your backyard. What kind of car you're driving, what kind of house do you have. These things are of zero importance. What you have to do is open your eyes and realize that we're just a rock floating around a star, and there's billions of stars out there. What happens if somebody that looks like us but maybe doesn't think like us finds a rock filled with life? Pretty much the same thing that happens when a whaler finds a family of whales. He calls all of his buddies and he says, food. So if you're wondering what all those ships are doing, floating around in deep space, all circling this particular area of the galaxy in the Milky Way here, it's because they found a cache of life. They found food. Some of you will say, well, if they're humans, how could they think of us as food? Well, not all humans are the same. Have you ever been out into the Amazon? There are humans out there called cannibals. They eat other humans. Now, just because a human race is so advanced that it has advanced technologies, don't think for a minute that there might not be some cannibals in space. Maybe humans that have mixed their DNA with other life forms, such as a parasite, and they would feed on humans like us. Maybe some humans that have fallen from the light, and they prefer the darkness, and they prefer to feed on people that are afraid, because that fear causes adrenaline rush, and then that adrenaline's in our blood, and they enjoy the flavor of their food when it's in a state of fear. Okay, is this starting to come together for you? The majority of the ships out there, if we can see them, it's because they're not afraid. They don't care if we figure out what they're doing, because we have no way to escape. We haven't put our heads together and figured out that some of them have been here all along, slowly but surely engineering our society, creating a situation where they can create a massive population, where they can manipulate the people into focusing on what's happening right here and ignore what's happening in space around their star or in deep space. That's nothing you can do about it. Just don't worry about that. Focus on your house. Have a nice car. Get a good job. Make lots of money. Because that's what's important. Oh, what am I doing with your child in my car? I'm going to take them to the amusement park. Yeah, that's the ticket. Okay, that's not really what's happening, but it's very close. Millions of infants are disappearing. And you're not going to know about it because of a neat technology called cloning. What happens when you clone an infant? Well, you have an infant clone that looks identical to the original. Only once it's taken off the machine, it stops breathing. So, how is it possible that clone infants that aren't going to survive could take the place of regular infants? Oh, wait! There's this little thing that happens. Doctors call it SIDS, Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. We don't know what happened. We don't know what the cause of this is. Nobody can identify the reason why this happens. But occasionally, in the millions, infants die in their sleep, apparently due to suffocation. Okay, the heart keeps beating in a clone because that's automatic. But the breathing, that's a part of the brain. So if the brain never wakes up, and a clone's brain doesn't wake up because it doesn't have a conscience, because it doesn't have a soul, then it stops breathing when the machine stops making it breathe. And there are machines that can force lungs to breathe. So, what happens? The clone stops breathing, the heart keeps beating, uses up the rest of the oxygen in the blood, and it appears as though the baby suffocated and died in its sleep of suffocation. Especially in the Midwest, farmers have been convinced to believe that this is going to happen, that their DNA is weak, and that infants may die in their sleep due to suffocation, and there's nothing they can do about it. Okay, the real numbers of how often this happens are being kept from the public. So, how are we being used as food? Sometimes people like to eat the egg instead of the chicken. Put the pieces together, people. Those ships are out there. They're real. And there's a reason that they're here. Could it be that every 2,500 to 3,000 years this planet becomes so overpopulated that it becomes the perfect feeding ground? We'll see. Wake up. The best thing to do is go on defensive, not offensive. We can't beat them. We don't have the technology to fight back like we've been trained to in wars, creating violence to beget violence. We need to think about defensive measures. And the best defensive measure I can think of is the defensive where we teach ourselves to become mentally aware and become stronger spiritually. The meditation on natural light that I teach, that Billy Myers teaches, called the Peace Meditation, this meditation exercise will strengthen you. And it will help us to grow in a way that we have been taught doesn't exist. It will help us to defend ourselves in a way that we've been taught we can't defend ourselves with. That this is all make-believe. Sorry, somebody just slammed their door into my car. This happens often. They know what I'm doing, that I'm making this video, and they don't like what I'm saying, because some of the people that are here may not have come from here. Anyways, people say, why doesn't the government tell people? Well, they did try to tell you. People say, why doesn't somebody come forward? Well, they have, actually. Let's see. If humans had the ability and the technology to stop other humans from coming forward, what would they do? Well, they'd probably just kill them. When have we seen this? Well, let's see. JFK tried to come forward. He got killed. Ronald Reagan tried to come forward. Started talking about, I wonder how humans or the leaders of the countries of our planet would react if they realized that the real threat came from outside of our planet instead of from within. Shortly thereafter, he developed, Alzheimer's. Could it be that that was manipulated and manufactured? William Cooper tried to come forward. He talked about how he saw ships coming out of the ocean when he was in the Navy. He talked about Project Sigma, connection or contact with the Navy with a clone race of androids. He talked about the CIA planning 9/11, and he said the CIA had planned an attack in New York and blamed it on a man, and they were planning on blaming it on a man named Bin Laden. Now, he lectured about this, and he said it in his lecture in 1989, which was 12 years before 9/11 took place. Phil Schneider talks about deep underground military bases that have been built, and he talks about advanced technologies that were given to us. And he talks about how these android clones told the secret government that they were sent here to find a way to keep us in controllable frequencies. How interesting. What does a farmer do with its cattle? Does he let it roam? Or does he do something so that he can keep control over them? Maybe tag them with electronic markers or put a fence up. Well, what if the cattle were smart enough to recognize a fence? Well, then you would need something ingenious that could possibly go inside the body and be hidden from the subject so that they wouldn't know that they have been put inside of a frequency fence. How clever. Microscopic nanobot implant technology, otherwise known as synthetic telepathy implants to the military. Many people are starting to talk about this technology. I teach people the best defense against this technology is the meditation on light. Strengthen your mind, strengthen your will. Be able to defend yourself. Just wanted to put this information out there so that some people can put two and two together and see what's really going on. Open your eyes. Maybe there's another reason why they want clouds in the sky. Maybe there's a secondary reason for chemtrails to fill our sky with clouds so that we can't see what's happening in the space just around our planet. Maybe somebody's coming to help us, and the ones that have kept us enslaved on this planet, kept us blind using this implant technology, kept us breeding. Maybe they don't want us to know what's really going on. Awaken your soul. Use the meditation on light. Thank you for watching.